Hi, I'm Charlie from sunshinescooters.co.uk, and today in this video we're going to talk about my top tips on how to identify whether your mobility scooter batteries may need replacing. The first thing that I would recommend you do is contact a local mobility scooter dealer that would hopefully have access to a mobility scooter battery capacity tester. Something like this. This piece of equipment has the ability to discharge a mobility scooter battery and record the total capacity. This is registered in the form of a percentage. It will also provide a graph showing the discharge over time. As a rule of thumb, any capacity below 60%, you will see significant loss of endurance and power from your mobility scooter battery. Often, you would have to test each battery one by one because mobility scooters typically use a 24-volt system and capacity testers are 12-volt. Not everyone has access to a mobility scooter discharge tester. So here are my top tips of how to identify whether your mobility scooter batteries may need replacing, and all of these you can hopefully do at home. My first tip to identify whether your mobility scooter batteries may need replacing is to look at the charger. The charger is a great place to start to understand whether your batteries are not working as well as they should. If you're finding you are needing to charge your scooter on a more regular basis than you're used to, it's probably a sign your batteries are starting to deplete. Another good tip as well is if you would plug your charger into your scooter and you'll find that it shows it is fully charged in a short period of time. This may be 10, 15, 20 minutes. That's usually a sign the batteries at that point are damaged. Mobility scooters typically take anywhere between 12 to 16 hours, usually overnight, to fully charge from flat. My next tip would be to look at your mobility scooter battery gauge. Your gauge provides an indication of how much charge your batteries have got left. If you find that on a journey that your battery gauge starts to go down very quickly, typically if it's under load, and what we mean by under load is traveling up a hill, or maybe traveling with luggage or shopping, or maybe on a colder day when your batteries don't perform as well, your battery gauge may start to go down quicker than you normally see. This is often a sign your batteries may be starting to deplete and may need replacing. An obvious indicator is the age of your batteries. Now, if you bought your batteries or mobility scooter within the last year or 2 years, it may be time to replace your batteries. We typically see batteries lasting anywhere between 1 to 3 years on average. I do have customers that have had mobility scooter batteries last in excess of 5 years, 6 years, and even longer. But typically, we see 3 years as a maximum use. This obviously depends on how you store your scooter, how often you charge it, and how many journeys you do on a weekly basis. If your scooter starts developing issues, and you may see the diagnostics light flashing on your dashboard indicating some kind of problem. These lights indicate an area of issue on your scooter. This may be your freewheel selector, it may be your motor, it could be your ECU controller. This is not necessarily the problem. Sometimes low voltage or low battery capacity can cause electronic faults on mobility scooters. If you feel that your batteries are also showing other signs of depletion, such as running out more quickly, needing a more regular charge, or that your batteries are nearing on 3 years of age, that may be a first look before discovering what other problems your scooter may have. Always check the batteries first. Now, one way to test if your mobility scooter batteries do need replacing at home is to use a simple tool called a multimeter. These can be purchased online, varying between £5 and £15 for a simple unit that will be more than adequate to do the job. Now, this isn't a 100% way to test. The only way to truly do that is with a discharge test using the equipment that I spoke about and showed you earlier. But this is just an indication of whether your scooter batteries are running out of charge more quickly and potentially may need replacing. In order to use a multimeter to test your batteries, you've got 2 ways of going about this. You can test your batteries individually by removing them or accessing them underneath your battery cover on your mobility scooter. Alternatively, you can do this via the charging port of your mobility scooter battery. You need to insert the black earth probe into the bottom pin of your mobility scooter charger and the red probe into the right pin. This should give a reading of around 24 volts. Often you're looking for a higher reading as most scooter batteries will read over 12 volts each. So somewhere in the region of 26 to 28 volts will show good voltage on your mobility scooter batteries. It's best to ensure that your scooter batteries are fully charged before doing this test. The first test is to understand how much voltage your mobility scooter batteries have got while stationary. Like I said earlier, this should be in the region of 24 to 26 volts. I would then suggest taking your scooter for a ride whilst keeping the multimeter in place. This will enable you to see how much voltage drop you have when the scooter is moving. If your mobility scooter is dropping by a significant amount, usually 2 to 4 volts plus, this is an often sign that your batteries are weaker than they once was. Mobility scooter batteries are wired in series. This means they'll display 24 volts, or often over. Now, voltage is not a sure sign way to test the capacity of your batteries, it is just an indication. Voltage equals power, amp hour or capacity of the battery equals endurance. And endurance is what you need when you're using your mobility scooter, especially when you're going out for longer journeys. Be sure to check out our future videos on top tips on maintaining and buying mobility scooters. And if you're interested in buying a fantastic pre-owned mobility scooter, please feel free to visit sunshinescooters.co.uk. Thank you.